This is the beginning of the Energon universe.
This video is going to have a crazy reveal. Make sure you watch the entire thing. What's up everyone, James here, and if you haven't seen my video covering the fantastic news of Skybound Entertainment obtaining the Transformers and G.I. Joe comic license, make sure you click the link right here, or it will be in a pinned comment down below. They have future plans of both properties, so you want to make sure you watch that video so you can know all the good stuff that's coming to us. With that out of the way, let's get into this video and see the beginning of voidrivals and the Energon universe. Okay, so voidrivals is a story centered around two warring factions, the Agorians and the Zertonians. Both are the last remnants of each of their worlds. Their worlds have collapsed around a black hole called the Sacred Ring, where seemingly their never-ending war takes place. This first issue opens with this Agorian named Darak crash landing on this remote planet. Now, he's unconscious, but what's cool here is all Agorian pilots, or maybe all soldiers or all people, have a handroid, a personal AI companion device that acts as a hand. It's strong enough to bust out of the crashed ship and drag Darak's unconscious body to a nearby medpack. What's interesting here is that after reviving him, Darak thanks the handroid by telling it to call him by his name instead of just pilot. However, Agorians forming bonds with their handroids seem to be discouraged, because the handroid says, "Protocol states I avoid addressing you by name so as not to encourage familiarity." Now, how he ended up crash landing on this planet, the handroid explains that during his battle with the Zertonian ship, who we will eventually learn the pilot's name is Solila, both were caught in a comet's gravitational pull and ended up being slingshotted into an uncharted quadrant in space. The handroid is having difficulty with calculating just how far away they are from the Sacred Ring. In the meantime, Darak and the handroid determine the ship isn't going to fly again, and believe the Zertonian pilot didn't make it. Until suddenly, what looks like to be a spear nearly takes Darak's head. Solila survived. Darak tries to use this fist blaster, but it's not functioning. Solila tackles him. The fight between Darak and Solila becomes just a knockdown, drag out fight. As they fall down this hill into a pit, they still are trading blows, not letting either gain the upper hand. Eventually, Darak gains the upper hand, and just as he's about to bash Solila's head in with this rock, he stops when she pleads for her life. He then asks her a fair question. If the roles were reversed, would she or her people spare him? She answers no, we wouldn't. Despite her admitting she wouldn't spare him, Darak appreciates the honesty and doesn't go through with killing her. The handroid reminds him that he is honor-bound to subdue every Zertonian he encounters, and by not doing that, he is committing an act of treason. And even Solila gives him another reason why he should terminate her. She reminds him that him allowing her to hear the handroid speak is forbidden. Darak has the handroid scan her ship to see if there are enough compatible parts between both ships to make one working ship, and the handroid determines it's theoretically possible. Still, Darak asks though if it's possible to do the repairs himself, and it answers no. So Darak points out he'll be stranded on this planet without her help, and he is not honor bound to die. That if they work together, they just might survive. Both of them decide to work together and begin repairs. But Solila doesn't entirely trust Darak. She's initially a bit jumpy around him, but Darak assures her there's nothing underhanded going on. While working on the ship, Solila mentions just how little modification is needed for Darak's Agorian ship parts to work in her Zertonian ship. However, Darak credits that to Zertonian spies stealing Agorian technology. Now, with Agorians possessing AI droids and Zertonians stealing Agorian technology, I think it's fair to assume that the Agorians are the ones who possess more advanced technology than the Zertonians do. When Solila connects the wrong cables, the ship explodes. Darak tackles her out of the way, saving her life. She returns the favor by putting out the fire on his jacket, but not before slapping him off of her. As a way of thanking him for saving her life, Solila reveals her name to Darak, and he does the same. As the ship is burning, Solila believes there's no hope, and that they're both going to die on this planet. She walks off, saying she refuses to die beside an Agorian. Hey, James here, and I hope you're enjoying the video. If you would like to be a big part of this channel's content and have behind the scenes access to the channel, go ahead and join my Patreon. I have 2 tiers, each with an array of benefits. The link will be in the description box and in the pinned comment down below. with that out of the way, let's get back to the video. Sometime later, after losing hope as well, Darak gets out of his head and refuses to give up. He has his android scan the ship for any salvageable parts, and it responds it's 58% salvageable. Suddenly, Solila comes running up to Darak, informing him she found something. What Solila discovered was a crashed spaceship in this valley. Handroid verifies that it's neither Ogorian nor Zertonian in origin. Darak theorizes that it's been here for thousands of years. They do an energy transfer to see if the ship system is still functioning. Suddenly, the ship activates and transforms, revealing it to be Jetfire. Now, one thing I should point out is they don't outright say Energon is the energy they use, but I think it's safe to assume it is because it worked. Even though it's normally depicted in pink, purple, or blue, I think this yellow color will be Skybound's way of depicting it, but we'll see. I really love how this was Kirkman's way of announcing that his company will be the publisher of the Transformer comics and that they will be part of a larger universe. It's amazing. As Darak and Solila are shocked at the sight of him, Jetfire introduces himself and tells them that he is a Cybertronian scientist. He assures them that he means no harm and asks how long has he been there. When they reply they don't know, he analyzes his body and surmises he's been there for millions of years. One thing to take note of here is that he possesses no Autobot or Decepticon insignia, so he's unaware of the Transformers' Great War that's most likely going on Cybertron right now, or might have already took place and they are now on Earth continuing the Great War. We'll have to see in their first issue come October. Also, the way Kirkman did this tells me he really is a Transformers fan, because this echoes the original G1 cartoon episode called Fire in the Sky, where Jetfire, called Skyfire at that time, made his first appearance. In the episode, Jetfire was discovered on Earth frozen in the Arctic Circle. Starscream explained in the episode that he and Jetfire were explorers millions of years ago before the Great War between the Autobots and Decepticons. When they were charting an unknown planet, which was Earth, a storm ended up separating them and Jetfire was lost. Jetfire apologizes to Darak and Solila, and he transforms and flies away, leaving them behind, presumably making his way back to Cybertron. Later, we see Solila has completely given up hope, and Darak is still working on salvaging the ship. She tells him that he needs to accept the fact that they're stuck on the planet. Darak reveals Jetfire's transformation has given him an idea. If they use everything they've salvaged, along with their flight armor components, it could be enough to turn the wrecked ship into a suitable spacecraft. The only risk is they'll be exposed to more solar radiation, but if they're quick, they could avoid consuming too much of it. Solila reminds him though that revealing themselves to each other is forbidden by both of their people's sacred decrees. Even Handroid advises against it, but Darak argues it's better than dying. When the pair remove their helmets, they're stunned at the revelation that they are of the same race. Darak says, "We're the same. It's just like my vision." Solila replies, "What vision?" That's the end of Void Rivals Issue 1 and the beginning of the Energon universe. This first issue was great and a nice starting point for the story of Void Rivals. Let me know what you all thought about not only the story so far of Void Rivals, but the revelation of Transformers existing in this universe. Hit that like button and comment down below your thoughts. Other than that, have an awesome day, and always remember, every day to transform and go beyond. See you later, Beyonders.